everyone, it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of Nicole. So this cutscene takes place on November 7th, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start. It's funny what liking your boss can do to help your motivation to work. Like, it's weird. I never hated coming to the convenience store, but I never really enjoyed it either. Now I find myself arriving early. Much to the surprise of Ted, though, I doubt he's going to complain anytime soon. I mean, he hasn't yelled at me for kissing him on the cheek the other night, so I figure that's gotta mean something. Then again, it's not like he's acknowledged it ever happened either. Our relationship is the same, except Ted is nicer. Yes, imagine that. Ted barely corrects me now. I like to think it's because I make less mistakes. But seriously, let's be real. He's totally just letting them slide. I sigh as I glance at Ted at the register. It's his turn to do it today, which leaves me to clean up the store and do all the boring things he usually does better. Whatever. As long as there's nothing to do, that doesn't stop me from logging onto Roller. I look down at my phone and refresh my dashboard before my eyes flicker back up to look at Ted again. He's just finishing up with a customer, and he smiles as she leaves the store with her purchases in hand. Idly, he looks over at me and flinches as he sees my eyes are already on him. What are you staring at? Oh, nothing. Well, that sure sounds like something. It's nothing, Ted. I see Ted smirk and shake his head before I look back down at my phone. Ooh, the blouse that girl is wearing is cute. Hey, get off your phone when you're working. You know the rules. I know, but there's nothing left for me to do. Everything's in its place. I'm gonna lose track of my dash if I don't keep up with it. Are you talking about that waste of time site again? For the last time, Roller isn't a waste of time. It's fun, okay? Not that you'd know much about fun. Not what you were saying the other night at the disco club. I snap up from my phone, taken completely off guard. Ted's wearing a smug grin, and his hand mimes a gun pointed right at me. Gotcha. That's not fair. You can't start saying stuff like that. I gesture at him with my phone still in my hand. That's completely out of character. And when did you suddenly become an expert on everything I do? When you start acting like such a weirdo. Just put your phone away. I ain't repeating myself. No phones when you're... Ted stops as a familiar sounding ringtone plays in the store. I bring my phone up to eye level. It's not mine. Embarrassed, Ted grumbles and digs down into his jumpsuit pocket. Shut up. I zip my lips as Ted answers the phone and places it to his ear. He mustn't recognize the number because he sounds unsure. Hello? Oh yeah, this is him. Hey. Yeah? Wait, what? Ted's pitch takes a fall as his eyes start flickering from side to side. What do you mean that's the date my order will come in? I ordered the meat to come way earlier than that. Yeah, that means it's a mistake. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good at all. Ted's grabbing at his hair with his hand, and he tucks his phone between his ear and his shoulder and begins rifling underneath the counter. I have the receipt here somewhere. I'll show you that I gave you the right date. Papers are sent flying behind Ted as he desperately searches for the mentioned receipt. I approach the counter, worriedly. Ted, do you need me to... Ted holds a finger up to his lips and shushes me loudly. Finally, he pulls a yellow-colored receipt page out and slams it on the counter. I have it right here. The date I specified was... no. Ted nearly drops the phone pressed to his ear as he looks at the receipt. I glance from the other side of the counter, and even reading upside down, I can tell that's not right. Even worse is that it's definitely Ted's handwriting. I thought I... Ted presses a hand to his eyes and takes a deep breath. I'm sorry. I must have messed up. But I need the meat sooner than that. Is there any possible... You're sure? Really? There's nothing else you can do? But look, I'll need the meat for a booth I'm hosting at the block party. So can't you get it from some other place? However, no matter how many alternatives Ted comes up with, or how many ideas he begs for the person on the other line to try, it all ends with the same response. And eventually, Ted tirely ends the call. Was that the butcher? I figure it's best to lay out the obvious before delving even deeper. We don't have any meat for our barbecue anymore. Ted forms a fist and slams the flat of it against the counter, hard. His fists tremble against the surface. From the force or just through Ted himself, I'm not sure. I screwed up. I don't know what the hell I did, but I wrote the wrong date. The butcher can't get our order prepped in time. And there's nothing he can really do about that, huh? I scratch my head thoughtfully. This is bad. Our whole booth idea revolved around that meat. Without it, we don't have anything. Okay, so this looks totally awful, but we'll just have to come up with something else. Don't bother. I freeze as I hear these words. Did Ted really just say that? Ted of all people? He looks so defeated right now. His shoulders are hunched over and he won't even look at me. Quietly, he slips from behind the counter and heads towards the back room. Ted, where are you going? It doesn't matter. I need to be alone right now. Don't bother me. The door to the back room slams hard after him. This is getting worse by the second, and I'm worried about Ted in this state. I'm sure I wouldn't be the only one. Figuring I have nothing left to lose, I take out my cell phone and go through my phone book for Ron's phone number. I tap it once I find it, then carefully cradle the phone close to my ear, moving far from the back room so there's no chance of Ted overhearing me. I never thought I'd have to call Ron for something like this. Hello? Hey, Mr. Ron. I meant Ron. I do my best to force some cheeriness into my voice. I don't want him to think something's wrong, even though something is wrong. Sorry to bother you while you're working, but there's kind of a big problem down here at the store. I start explaining the predicament in a hushed voice, wincing a little as I go over the part where Ted messed up the order for the meat. Ron doesn't act outraged or anything like that. He stays pretty calm for the most part. I had a nagging feeling that something like this would happen. How's Ted taking it? I glance over at the back room door. Not very well. He shut himself in the back room. I don't think he wants to talk about it. It'd be better not to disturb him. The poor boy's probably blaming himself, silly over this right now. I don't get how it happened, though. Ted normally doesn't make mistakes like that. I think I might have an idea. You ever notice how he starts nodding off in the middle of the day? Yeah, I remember something like that happening. Oh, are you saying that he might have been tired when he was placing that order? If I know my son, and I've known him for a pretty dang long time, then that must have been what happened. He would have never let something like that slip otherwise. So it was because he was overworking himself that Ted messed up. I feel really bad for him. He was really depending on this barbecue booth to save the shop. And now that's all been dashed. Nicole, mind if I get a little close up and personal with you? I hesitate to answer. I'm not sure how personal I want to get with Mr. Starr, even if he is moderately attractive for his age. Okay? Do you blame Ted for this? I freeze with the phone held up to my ear. It's a pretty heavy question, isn't it? I mean, like, I don't like it, but I don't think Ron's gonna let me sidestep it so easily. So now you've got your options. I do blame him, I don't blame him. But come on, you obviously don't blame him. I know that he's the one who filled the form out, but I don't blame him for anything. People mess up. It happens. It sucks that it happened now, but pointing fingers won't fix anything. Ha, that's our Nicole. Always such a sweetheart. I'm real lucky Ted found a nice gal like you. Even though he wasn't there to see it? Oh, really? I'm one off. One off. I blush and giggle in an embarrassingly girly way. No, it's serious time now. Ron, you flatter me way too much. But yeah, he totes is lucky. Oh, I'd ask you what you mean, but I know better than to pry into the lives of the youth. Thank you, Nicole. I honestly am glad you don't blame my son. He's probably blaming himself enough for the two of us. There's a silent, thoughtful pause before I hear Ron take a tired breath. Nicole, can I trust you with a huge secret? A deep, dark secret? Only the deepest and darkest. Ron chuckles a little. You think I'm just saying that, but I haven't even told this to Ted. Whoa, so it is a deep, dark secret. I look around furtively to make sure that no one can overhear us. A second later, I remember that I'm the only one in the store. Ugh, stupid. What is it? I despise that convenience store with every hair on my body. I gasped, literally gasped, like the kind you hear in soap operas after someone's making a shocking reveal. You do? That must come like something of a shock, huh? Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't hate it for no good reason. I hate it because it's Ted's prison. Ted's prison? For a sec, imagine if the store didn't exist, Ted wouldn't be so overworked. He'd have more time to do things he wants, and not the things he thinks I want him to do. All a father wants for his child is to be happy, and right now, Ted ain't happy. He's stuck to that store because he thinks it'll make me proud of him for picking up after his mother, rest her soul. Well, you are proud of him? Nicole, you ain't even gotta ask. I'll always be proud of Ted. I raised him after all. I just wish I could tell him that myself, and say how much I want to get rid of that blasted store. Aw, Ron, it's fine. Ted just has the kind of personality where it's scary to tell him things. But yeah, you need to get a backbone. Youch. Nicole, you don't hold back. Despite what he says, Ron's voice has a lighter tone than before. I guess letting all of that off his chest made him feel better. So the fact that we can't fundraise anymore is a good thing? For me? Yes. Oh, yes. Now I can finally sell that place and Ted can live a normal life. But don't you think he'll just find something else to do in its place? I don't think you're solving the problem this way. I don't know how to solve it either, though. Well, this ain't something we should discuss so openly over the phone. And I'm getting funny looks from the guys, so I better skedaddle. Oh, okay. I probably shouldn't bother Ted right now, huh? He probably said to leave him for a little, right? Best to do as he asks. I really don't want to, but I don't want to make Ted feel even worse. I bid Ron farewell over the phone, hang up, and go to the back room to tell the same to Ted. Ted? I knock on the door firmly. I think I'm going to head out. Is that okay? Do what you want. I'm going to take that as a yes. I need my cardigan, though. I left it in the back. The door suddenly opens a crack, and my black cardigan flies out through it and onto the floor. I snatch it off the floor with lowered eyelids. Thanks, Ted. I'll see you later. I make sure my voice is rich with sarcasm before I leave the convenience store. That was probably not the best way to say goodbye, but I doubt Ted would have felt any better if I acted nice. He'd probably think I was coddling him. I rub my head as I make my way back to the dorm. I don't know what to do. First I was trying to figure out my feelings for Ted, and now I have to figure out this. A girl can only do so much. Whatever the case, though, I know I'm going to have to look out for Ted the best I can. I like him, so hopefully, maybe, I can help him through this. I want to at least do what I can. And I'm going to end this episode here for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you want to see more, just click the I at the top, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching!